All right, you guys, what's up? Welcome back. We are live for the first time this year. It's been a little bit, been a little while since we've been up on our different platforms here. We got Instagram going, we got YouTube, we got Facebook. If you're jumping up on Instagram, that's cool, but we will be screen sharing on YouTube and Facebook. You can comment in on any platform, but you'll be able to see pictures and stuff if you go over to the YouTube or Facebook platform. If you're here, go ahead and comment, say hello, say hi. Seeing everybody log on. Welcome. It's been a little while. Welcome back to BSPN. Hey, what's up? I always give a few minutes for everybody to get logged on here and get going and all that good stuff. So while we're waiting for everybody to get on here, you can see we got a new QR code up here in the corner. If you're on Instagram, you can't see this. This is on YouTube and Facebook. So you got to go through YouTube or Facebook over here. So we've got the newsletter up here for the QR code. This is a free newsletter. Just put your email in. A lot of you guys are on this list already, so you're getting emails from us weekly. It's going to include our different podcasts that we do. It's going to include lots of fun tips. I'm going to be doing a lot of YouTube videos and things like that to help you along your journey, all of that. So get on it. It's free. So that's it. Put your email in. What's up? Welcome. How's everybody doing? I feel like I haven't gone live in a very, very long time. I'm like, I forget what I'm supposed to be saying. So normally I say studesymposium.com. That is still our website, but we're looking at Boldly Conquer now. Boldlyconquer.com. That is our URL for the free newsletter. I'll put that up here. Actually, I've got it. Yeah, look, I'm so professional at this now. There you go, boldlyconquer.com. So if you forget, that's it right there. Yeah, let the season begin, right? We finally, I mean, it's only February, but we had a pro show last week, so we're going to talk about that. We've got a few other things to talk about too. I'm going to get rid of the QR code at this point. Actually, it's not in the way. No, I'll just keep it up. I'm just going to keep it up. It's not in the way. If it gets in the way, I'll move it. So we had the Japan Pro this past weekend. The next one coming up that we'll be talking about is the Arnold. We're going to start a little bit of Arnold Hype today. We are going to review some photos from Japan so that you can see that. But before we do that, I mentioned this in our Facebook group really quickly. For those of you that went to CCTS, we have a new affiliate partner program that's coming out. So we used to do a athlete search. We stopped doing that. We are rolling out a brand new partner program, which is, in my opinion, better than what we did for the athlete search and for the sponsored athletes. So if you went to CCTS 2024, you are going to have first crack at becoming one of our new partners. So watch your emails on Saturday. That all the information is going to be in there. It is a really big bonus kind of program, really big. So be checking that if you're interested in it. If you want to be a part of it, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. But those of you that went to CCTS, you are going to have the first opportunity to get into this program and make yourself some money, help with those, competition costs and things like that, because we all know this is an expensive sport, and y'all can help get as much help as you could possibly get. Need as much help as you could possibly get. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I saw that you broke your foot. That's not cool. But everything that you do, you grow from, you learn from, which is actually something we're going to talk about tonight, because we're going to go into some Arnold Hype and things like that too. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to do the review of Japan Pro first, or do we want to talk about a little bit of Arnold stuff first? Go ahead and type into the comments. Let me know. We are going to do both. We are not doing previews of the Arnold yet. We're going to do previews of the Arnold next week. I'm going to give you my picks, my placings, who I think is going to take the title, that kind of thing. That'll all be next week. This week we are just going to go through a few things, and I'm going to tell you why those things. So what do you guys want to do? You want to do so we're talking about the Arnold. Let's go ahead and just jump into the Arnold, and then we'll review Japan after that. Okay. So first thing is if you guys saw it, which some people are saying it now in the comments, I see it, is that, well, we're going to do Lauralie. Where is it? But before we do Lauralie, I want to talk about Issa. There we go. Okay. So Issa is out. I don't know if you guys saw this or not today, but she posted it up on her Instagram. Let's see if I can get the screen share to work. Here it is. Issa is out of the Arnold. I'm going to get rid of the chat overlay too so you guys can see this a little bit better. There you go. Unfortunately, she had appendicitis and had to go into emergency surgery. So, spoiler alert, I did have her in my top 3. So obviously she's no longer in top 3. It's unfortunate because I felt like she was looking very, very good. I felt like this was going to probably be one of her better packages. What if I can get this to be bigger? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I can't see anything if I do it that way. Okay, I tried to make it bigger and I ended up making it full screen. I couldn't see anything. So it's too bad that this happened. I mean, it's only 2 weeks out. That sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks to have to go through all that prep and all that work and all that stuff and then have something like this happen. She is okay at this point. Hopefully this will just give her an opportunity to rest and come back better and things like that. But again, it sucks. At the end of the day, there's no way around that. It just sucks to be out. So this is one of the reasons why I don't do Arnold previews until we get into the last couple of weeks, because anything can happen, right? We've seen this happen already in a few of the other divisions where some of the people have been knocked out or they can't get visas or whatever it might be. So I never like to do the previews too early because we just don't know who's going to end up being on stage that day. You know what I mean? So let's wish Issa speedy recovery, give herself some downtime, chance to rest, recoup, and hopefully come back better next time she's on stage. And then, like I said, talking about things that we can't know until we get there is hype, like Lauralie. So for those of you that follow Lauralie, she does have a subscription. So there's been a couple of photos that have been kind of leaked from her subscription as her progress photos. And this right here is, again, one of the reasons why I don't like to do previews on the Arnold or any other big show until we get closer, because this is, quite frankly, probably the best I've ever seen Lauralie look ever. So, you know, she just came off of a kind of disappointing placing at the Olympia. Everybody was like, oh, she's too big now. She's not going to bring it in, all this stuff. Well, I mean, according to this, she's looking pretty damn good. So, of course, we don't know what she's going to end up bringing on stage. That's always a up in the air kind of thing with Lauralie. We always say that. We don't know what Lauralie is going to show up on stage that day. If she shows up and she shows up looking like this, it's going to be very, very hard to beat her. It's going to be very, very hard to beat her. This is probably the best front pose I've ever seen from Lauralie. I've always thought Lauralie's front pose was a little wonky, and I felt like she got away with it because she's Lauralie. But don't think anybody else can do the same pose as her. This is much better. They found the right angle for her waistline. Finally, she's got the longer torso that goes into her lower back, so it actually makes her look longer through the waistline if you don't get that quite right on the angle. This is the right angle right here. This is the exact right angle on her front pose. She definitely could probably open up a little bit more in her back pose on her upper half. She's always going to be a little bit fuller on the lower half with her quads and her glutes, things like that. So I feel like if she opened up her upper back a little bit more in that back pose, it might balance her a little bit better. But again, this is just, you know, we'll see what she looks like on show day, because this picture was posted 2-3 days ago, something like that, over the weekend. And she's got 3 weeks at that point, 2 weeks now. So a lot can happen in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So, you know, we'll see what happens. But if she brings in a package like this to the Arnold, going to be very, very hard to beat her. Going to be very, very hard to beat her. So people better look out. Be bringing your A game. Because she's coming to retain her Arnold title, right? So what do you guys think? Type into the comments here. Tell me what you think. Do you think she's going to be your front runner? Who's going to be your front runner for the Arnold this year? Who do you got? I'll pull the chat overlay up again for a minute here. Do you think that Lauralie can bring that particular package to the stage? Tell me here in the comments. Tell me here in the comments. What do you think? I'll give it a minute. I know it's always a little bit behind when we're on lives. So tell me what you think of Lauralie's package. There we go. I'm seeing here on Instagram. I'm seeing. I think she has it. If you're on Instagram, if you jump over to YouTube or Facebook, you'll see the pictures and everything. So there's no screen sharing on Instagram, but there is over on YouTube and Facebook. So, yep, Lauralie definitely downsized for sure. She needed to, obviously. So, I think this is a phenomenal look for her. If she was to bring this to the stage, I think she's going to be very, very hard to beat. Very, very hard. Yep. I think Lauralie can. For sure, she looks like she has downsized. Yep, she's downsized for sure. Yeah, I think it's a great look on her. Again, she's a genetic freak, so you know what I mean. Like she's always going to look phenomenal no matter what she does. But you know, there's a specific point where she comes in and she just nails it. And if she brings in something like this is going to be probably one of her best looks for sure. So. Yeah, I think everybody wants to see Lauralie win the big show. You know, obviously she's won the Arnold already. Everybody wants to see her win the Olympia. I mean, she's been second how many times now at this point? She's, you know, always in that first call out, just cannot push over that top piece. And a lot of it has to do with, you know, past coaches have said she's very hard to peak. You know, being that she has a lot of muscle and she's taller, she gets skinny real quick, even with standing backstage. And I get that. I'm the same way. I lose volume and I get flat and stuff just standing backstage because I'm so long and so lean. So I understand that aspect of it as well. So, you know, the wild card here is, can she bring this to the stage? That's the wild card here, right? But also we could be right there with Lauralie. Very excited to see how the judge stands up now. Yeah, I'm going to go into all of the other competitors and stuff too next week. So, like I said, this was kind of a leaked photo that came out from her subscription for Lauralie, so I wanted to share it. And then next week I'll pull what we've got from everybody else. Angelica's been doing a whole YouTube video series and all that kind of stuff, so you can see a lot of her progress there right on YouTube. So that's been cool. I've been following along with that too. Amy's looking great. There's a lot of really, really good girls this year, and I feel like, I've said this before, I feel like this particular Arnold, somebody could really make a name for themselves. There's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity there for even. So let's just play out the scenario that Lauralie comes in perfect and she wins and retains her title and all of that stuff. Whoever comes in second to her is going to be talked about at the Olympia, for the Olympia, right? So, so it's just going to be a matter of, you know, who steps up to the plate. And again, Lauralie's got to come in with her best package too. She's got to come in too. So, I can't screen share on Instagram. Screen sharing is on YouTube and Facebook, and it's up right now. So that's why I said, if you're on Instagram, you've got to go over to YouTube or Facebook. So there's no screen sharing on Instagram. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. But again, we'll preview next week. I'll pull up some other photos that we've seen floating around of the other competitors, things like that. We'll go through all of that next week. But obviously, Lauralie's the hype right now with Issa out. We're looking at pretty much anybody could step in there. So it's gonna be an interesting show. So with that, let's see, make sure I hit all the points. Yep. Okay. So what we're going to go into next is we are going to go into the muscle contest results, and Natalia wins the show. She is now a 3-time Olympian at this point, qualified. We're going to go through pictures. You know, I kind of want to show I'm going to show the top 5, but I'm going to show comparison shots. So I'm going to do this a little differently rather than go through, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll do the 5 through 3 and then 2 and 1. And the reason why I'm doing this way is for a few reasons. So first of all, here we go. Let's just go five through. Here we go. I'll explain myself. Okay. So these girls right here, I'm going to get rid of this little caption so you guys can see more. There we go. These are the girls that placed 5th through 3rd. You really can't get any closer of a comparison than what you've got sitting right here, right? Man, like these 3 girls are almost exactly the same height. They've all got the exact same look as far as the red suit, dark hair, Asian. Like this is as close as you can get to comparing people that look exactly alike to each other, right? And yet there's a very significant difference between the 3 of them. Now, before I say who's who, I'm sure some of you guys have already looked at the results, but can you tell me who, just from looking at the front pose, and I'll flip them around to the back too, so you can take a look at the back, what the placings are. So we've got the left, we've got the middle, and we've got the right. So who's in 5th, who's in 4th, and who's in 3rd here in this lineup, right? Tell me who you think, just from this front pose here that you're seeing. And while you're typing that in, I'll go ahead and pull up the back shot too, so you guys can see what the back shot looks like. I do have the back shot up. Cool. Awesome. So go ahead and type into the comments. Tell me, just looking at this front pose, who do you think is in 5th? And just say like left, middle, right. Okay. So left, middle, right. Who's in 5th? Who's in 4th? Who's in 3rd? Go ahead and type into the comments what you think. Just by looking at this front pose, what placing would you give them? And we'll do the same thing for the back pose. You can even type into your comments why you have that placing. And I'll pull the overlay back up so you guys can see what the comments are coming in, so you see what people are thinking. So Jennifer, you're saying middle, left, and right. So if you're saying middle, do you think that's your 3rd place or is that your 5th place? Tell me what placings you think they are. So again, this is 3rd through 5th that we've got here. So tell me who you've got in which placing. Okay, so middle is 5th. Okay. Middle, left, right, not super hard to super hard. So again, tell me, are we doing 3rd through 3, 4, 5, or are we doing 5, 4, 3? Tell me that, okay? Fifth in the middle, she's hiding her glutes and overextending her front knee. 5th for the middle, okay? Give it another minute for you guys to type in your answers. So from the front right now, it looks like most everyone is saying they think that the 5th place girl is the middle girl. 4th is on the right. What am I missing here? Middle, right, left. Okay. So again, tell me if you think what placing they're in. And if you want to say why, tell me why as well. And while we're doing that, 3rd on the left. Okay. I'll pull up the back shot, see if you agree with those same placings in the back shot. So they didn't move, so you still got the same girls in each position. So the girl that was on the left is on the left, and you got the middle, and you got the right. So from the back, what placings do you have here, 5th through 3rd? Which placings do you have here? Middle 3rd, left 4th, right 6th. Well, I think you mean right 5th. And if you want, tell me why. Type in, tell me why. Middle 3rd, left 4th. Okay, tell me why. 3rd, right 4th, left 5th. And again, tell me why. Everybody's putting in different answers, so I want to hear your why. Tell me why. So now left 5th, right, fourth, middle, third. It's hard when you flip them to the back, right? Any other guesses? Any other thoughts? Nobody's telling me why. Nobody's telling me why they have these placings. Tell me why. I want to know why. What do you see? Middle definitely has more legs in the back, but I like her balance from top to bottom. Okay. Well, dang, from the back, right and third. There it is. Right and third, fourth, the left, fifth, left glutes, big, unbalanced, smaller shoulders, big, kind of hard, right, good, middle, hold on. Left glutes, big, unbalanced, smaller shoulders, middle, kind of hard, right, balance. Made my picks based on balance and glute pop. Middle looks more balanced, top to bottom. Okay. Okay. All right, so we got some good explanations going on here. I'm going to flip them back to the front, and I'll tell you which placings they were. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of the chat overlay so you guys can see it. Okie doke. So, right looks most streamlined to me. Okay. From the back, middle seems most balanced, top to bottom. Left almost seems like her glutes are overpowering. Right, cut hair, but overall decent balance. Okay, so from the front, I'm going to break this down how I see it and how the placings went. I actually think the girl on the left has the best overall shape from the front, but she's too lean. Now, this may be hard to see on the monitor, you know, that kind of thing. She's too conditioned, okay? And her lower body has a little bit more mass in it than her upper body. So if she'd filled out a little bit more, she may have placed a little bit higher, but I'm going to tell you right now she was fifth, okay? So she was fifth of these three. I think her overall look is actually the best here, but again, she's too conditioned and she's a little unbalanced with a little bit more mass on her lower half. And that's where she falls into that fifth place category. Now you can see that as well from the back. She's definitely the leanest one from the back, for sure, by far, right? So they definitely penalized her for conditioning, okay? And again, when you're talking, if these girls were at their perfect condition and shape and everything, I think she actually has the best shape overall, but she just came in too hard, okay? And she's a little bit unbalanced with her physique. The girl in the middle, she came in fourth, okay? I like her look a lot. I think from the front, she's actually the most balanced, but she has the least amount of shoulders, okay? If you look at her her shoulder and her pop in her shoulder, she has the least of the three. When I first looked at this particular shot here, I thought that she was going to be in third until I looked at the shoulders. Until I looked at the shoulders, I was like, oh, okay, I get why she's fourth. Okay, from the back, I actually think she's the best from the back. I do think she's the best in the back of these three. The girl on the far right, she came in third, and rightfully so, because she has the best balance from top to bottom. And overall conditioning is the best. Again, her shoulders, to me, what got her in third place versus fourth is her shoulders over the girl that's in the middle, okay? Now, if you look at the back pose, we'll pull up the back pose again for you so you can take a look at that. So when you look at the back pose here, you can clearly see the girl here on the left is super conditioned. Look at her hamstrings. Look at her glutes, how hard they look. She's very, very tight. Very, very tight. But if she was a little bit fuller, I would argue that she's probably got the best shape up there. She's just not, she went a little bit too far in her conditioning, right? We look at the back here. I actually like the pop of the girl in the center better. But she's a little bit leg heavy here. She's a little bit leg heavy from the back, but she's got some nice fullness and nice pop there. Then the girl on the right, to me, she's actually just a little bit too conditioned as well from the back, but she's the best balanced. Again, when you look at her overall physique, she's the best balanced of the three. This is literally splitting hairs between the three of these girls, right? It could have flip-flopped, and I could have seen it that way too, right? Again, this is about as close as you're ever going to get with three competitors looking the same, right? They got the same suit, they got the same hair, they've got the same ethnicity. Like, it's just, they're very, very close. They're very close in height. You know, they're almost the exact same height. Like, this is about as close as you're ever going to get to comparing three competitors, right? So it was, again, splitting hairs. I would say that if the girl on the left was a little bit less conditioned, a little bit not quite so hard, I think she would have taken third here, right? She would have taken third here. But because she went a little bit overboard on her conditioning, that dropped her down to fifth. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's insane how close they are to each other. I mean, like I said, I mean, I don't know what the scorecard said. I didn't see the scorecards, so I don't know what they look like, but I would guess it's like a point away from each other. Like, really, they're so freaking close. And that's why I wanted to show it with the comparisons versus going one by one, because they are just so damn close to each other as far as their look is concerned. So yeah, great case study, right? For real. So that was your third through fifth right there. And I agree with it. Again, they could have flipped it. I would have probably agreed with that too, because I can see the strengths and I can see the weaknesses from each of the girls. But I thought that was pretty cool. So the next thing that we're going to look at is we're going to look at your top two, which was, I thought I had them open. Let me go back and find them, because I thought I had that pulled open, but I guess I didn't. Hang on a second. Probably just clicked through them and missed it. Also, I wanted to do the comparisons with these people because when you look at their individual shots, they're blurry. So let's get a front shot. Here we go. Yeah, watch me enough. You get a little bit of an eye, right? Just a little bit of an eye when you're watching me. So we've got two girls that placed in the top two, and this is really the show. It came down to the two of them, Priscilla and Natalia, and they both are previously Olympians, right? So Priscilla won down in Brazil, so she is already qualified for the Olympia this year. And then Natalia has competed in the Olympia the last 3 years. So to me, looking at these two competitors, I actually thought Natalia ran away with this, right? I felt like she definitely won this hands down. Priscilla, I feel like has a really good frame, but she needs some posing work. And I wasn't a huge fan of the suit color on her either. I think it washed her out a little bit. And again, to me, this was just Natalia's show. I mean, when you look at these poses next to each other, Priscilla's pose is very closed off. It's a little too sideways. She's pushing a little bit too much weight onto her back foot versus her front foot. It looks like she's almost bending over a little bit. And then you look at her upper body, and it's just not quite as open and broad and everything like that as far as in comparison to Natalia. Natalia's front pose is pretty much perfect. I'm just going to be honest. It's pretty much perfect. She's got just enough development from top to bottom. She's just tight enough. Like, she doesn't have, and again, this is kind of probably hard for you guys to see on the screen. So if you want to go onto NBC News Online and actually pull these photos up, it's probably better to do it that way. And also, I would suggest you look at the comparison shots, because when you look at their individuals, the individual shots are blurry when you're looking at their front and back pose. So when you look at the comparisons, you can see them a little bit better. But yeah, Natalia's pretty well balanced here. She's nice and full and round. Waistline's tight, but not like overly shredded or anything like that. To me, Priscilla just needs to really open up this front pose. I think she's actually got a really tiny waistline, but you can't tell here because her front pose is just so closed off. I think most of her issue here in this particular comparison between the two of them is her posing. I think her physique is actually pretty good, but she's just not showing it. And again, I'm not a fan of the suit color. I would go with something with some more color to it. Like you're seeing on Natalia, that's the difference between a jewel tone and with going with something that's too light. For those of you that come to me for suits, some of you ask me for like pastel colors and things like that. This is why I don't do those. because it's pretty obvious when you get them next to each other that jewel tone just pops a whole lot better. And even, I mean, the lighting on these photos isn't great, you know what I mean? So, and even with the lighting, you can tell the difference in the color of the suit. The suit cuts are better too. Like the Natalia's suit cut is better too. And actually, I've given her critiques before where her suit cut, her top suit cut was too small. This one fits her a whole lot better than her last suit. So overall, it's a much better package than what I've seen from her in the past. Even her glam, I've critiqued her on her glam before. Like overall, this is a much better package on her than what I've seen from her this past year. Now, as we're going into back poses, let me pull that up. These are, no, that's not back poses. I want this right here. Find a back pose for you guys too. I think this one's probably pretty clear. There's a million. That's the other thing when you're talking about these Asian shows, they do a million photos. All right, here's a back shot for you. So again, looking here, to me, Natalia runs away with this. Priscilla looks good, but she's leg heavy. She's got some good pop to her glutes and all of that. But when you look at her overall frame, I look right at her legs. Whereas with Taya, I'm looking right at her glutes. She's got good balance. Again, we don't want the glutes to be overpowering either, but here she's really well balanced from top to bottom. I would venture to guess that Priscilla's actually probably pushing too hard on her back pose as well. I feel like she might be flattening out her hamstrings and everything like that. I'm seeing a little bit of bend in her knees there that might be a little too much of a bend. And I also feel like you can see her upper body kind of yanking upwards, which to me indicates she's pushing too hard in her lower body. She needs to stand up a little taller, a little straighter. Natalia is standing up pretty tall and straight there, and that's why you see that roundness, that fullness, and that pop on the top of her glutes, versus with Priscilla, what you see is a flatness on the top of her glutes. And it also makes her lower back look thicker than it actually is. So again, going back to its posing. More than anything else, I think her issues stem from posing. If she was to stand up taller and not bend quite so much, I think she would look 10 times better. I think she's overdoing this pose. So like on her front pose, she was underdoing the pose. On her back pose, she's overdoing her pose, right? So she's flipping it. Versus Natalia looks great. You know, she's nice and full. Again, if we think about what we just saw with the last three girls that we had up here, Natalia's lean, but she's got pop and she's got fullness and she's got roundness. She's not so lean that we're seeing that really diced in hamstring drop, right? It kind of blurs a little bit as she goes from her glute down into her hamstring. That's bikini conditioning, right? This is really good bikini conditioning right here. One thing she could probably do a little bit better is maybe open up her back a little bit more. That's really, like, again, splitting hairs. I don't know if that would actually make this back pose look better for her. It might not. Because I think this is pretty good. I would also probably break up her hair, her curls in the back a little bit. Not bad, but they just got those ringlets. So I break them up so that they cover her back versus you see that space in between and you're just looking at her back from there. So that's really nitpicky there as well. But again, I think in general, Natalia won this on posing. I think she won it on posing. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts, questions on this? Go ahead and type into the comments. Anything that you want clarified on this as far as what I'm saying with their posing or any of their presentation details or conditioning details. I actually think that Priscilla's conditioning is pretty good. I just think she lost it on posing, to be honest with you. I think she lost it on posing. So anything that you guys wanted to ask or anything that you wanted to add? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And sometimes it's difficult to see this kind of thing too. Like I said, like the lighting, the way that was this particular show for these photos. But that's why when you're watching and you're actually paying attention to the comparison shots versus the individual shots, it makes a whole lot more sense. You can see it a whole lot better when you're seeing them next to each other. And then the last thing that I wanted to make a point of with this particular show, so can you flip this to the front again? Are the elbows of the girl in the blue too far back? Yeah, so the elbows are you talking about for Natalia in the blue, or are you talking about the teal? The elbows of the girl in the blue too far back. Definitely for different people. I don't think if you're talking about Natalia with the blue, I don't think her elbows are wrong. I think her elbows are fine. I think she could potentially be a little bit taller in the upper body, but I think her elbows are fine. Priscilla, I do think is pushing back too hard. So I don't think her elbows are wrong, but I think she needs to stand up taller. Okay, so the dark blue, yeah, no, her elbows are fine. Yeah, her elbows are fine. Let me pull the front pose up so you can see that. There you go. There's the front pose of the two of them. I'll get rid of the overlay so you can see a little bit bigger. So there's the front pose. I mean, again, when I look at this, my eye goes directly to Natalia, right? So again, when we're waiting for any more other questions or comments to come in on this, this is also why you can't bank on any show being easy anymore, right? Some people think that you go to like an overseas show, it's going to be easier to go to an overseas show. This show had 8 people in it total, you know what I mean? But it had 2 Olympians in it, right? There's no such thing as an easy show anymore. There's no such thing as an easy show anymore. So, you know, you've got to go into a show knowing that you're bringing your best regardless, because you could end up showing up to a show with 8 people in it and 5 Olympians. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree. I agree that Natalia just pops right out on the screen. I mean, to me, it was her show and then everybody else, right? And again, I think the 3 girls that we showed in 3rd through 5th were very, very competitive. Very competitive, with a few little tweaks and things like that. Each one of them could have been up in this top 2, right? So I think they looked really, really good. The shapes of a lot of these girls over in these Asian countries and things like that are ridiculous because they have those teeny tiny little waistlines, and they just the X frame, the V's and the S's that come out of them are just crazy, crazy good. So yeah, there's going to be some stiff competition coming out of like Japan and China and all that kind of stuff over there. So be looking out for that for sure. Anything else that you guys wanted to add or ask? But that was a really good high quality show for it being the first show of the year. And again, just being a random show in Japan. I mean, very, very, very good. So like I said, there's no such thing as an easy show anymore. There's no such thing as walking in and taking an Olympia qualification. No such thing. So that'll wrap up our live for tonight. Next week, like I said, what we're going to do is we are going to preview the Arnold next week. Okay, the girls that are competing, talk about picks, all that kind of stuff. If we have any sneak peek previews and things like that have been released, we'll put those out just like we did with Lauralie tonight. Speedy recovery to Issa and everything as well. If you would like to get onto my free newsletter, it's right here. The QR code is right here up in the corner, right there. I realized I was pointing at it with my mouse and not with my finger. Right there for the free newsletter. It is boldlyconquer.com. Just put your email address in. Like I said, it's a free newsletter for you, so you can get all the tips and tricks that we're going to put out for you guys. And again, if you came to CCTS 2024, be making sure that you're paying attention to your inboxes on Saturday, because we are going to send out and launch our brand new affiliate program. And I'm telling you, we are paying out big. So if you guys are interested in promoting our brand, this is the way to do it. This is when to jump in. You guys are getting first crack at it. So make sure you're paying attention to your inboxes on Saturday. Check the spam folders, all those kinds of things. And I think that's it for right now. So we'll be back again next week, and we will preview the Arnold. Like I said, we'll talk about our top 10 picks and placings and all of that. And glad to be back. I know it's been a while. It's been a minute. But now we get shows again. So now we're going to have lives again. So I'm excited to see. I'm glad you all came back. I was like, maybe I'm going to get on live tonight and nobody's going to show up. So thank you for sticking with me and being back here with me. I appreciate it. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Get on our free newsletter, boldlyconquer.com. We'll see you back here again next week. And don't forget, we've got our podcast Behind the Bikini out every week as well. So that's coming out every Wednesday. So you got a podcast to listen to. Now you got me back talking my face off every night for you guys too. So yeah, I'm glad to be back. I missed it. I'm glad we've got shows again. So we're getting back into the season, getting back into the busy time, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year. It's already off to a good start. So yeah, thank you guys for coming, for coming back. I missed you. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you back here next week. And yeah, that's it. BoldlyConquer.com. Good night, you guys.